Assalamualaikum and a good day. Today, we will presenting our mini project assignment for non-government organization United Nations High Commissioner for English for Advanced Learners, code AL0033.
Introduction. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees (UNHCR) is a United Nations non-government organization in which motive to aid and protect refugees all around the world. A statistic research conducted in 2019 shows that at least 75.5 million people have been forced to flee their homes worldwide due to all kinds of factors. Among the 79.5 million of people, 26 million are refugees, while half of them is below the age of 18. The research also showed us that there are around 4 million of people which are stateless. These people are nationally denied and do not have the right to access to education, employment, healthcare, and freedom of movement. As a result, around 1% of the world's population was displaced. From there, we can see how important UNHCR's work is.
United Nations High Commission for Refugees devoted workforce work in 135 countries or regions across the country, and those regions are from the main capital to remote and often in danger. For example, Africa, Americas, Europe, Middle East, and North Africa. No matter where the refugee arrive, they will work closely with the government to ensure compliance with the 1951 Refugee Convention. So, what is 1951 Refugee Convention? Simply to say that the 1951 Refugee Convention is the foundational legal document on which their work is based. They outline the rights of refugees as well as the legal responsibilities of states to protect them. UNHCR's personnel, only more than 10% people are located in UNHCR's general headquarters. These people will provide support for other departments of UNHCR, which Budapest, Copenhagen, and Amman Global Service Center, which also include critical administrative function. Besides, the rest of the 90% workforce will help the most vulnerable victims around the world.
Who UNHCR helps? At UNHCR, their primary goal is to protect the rights and well-being of people who have been forced to flee their homes. They collaborate with partners and communities to ensure that everyone has the right to apply for asylum and seek safe refuge in another country. They also work hard to find long-term solutions. UNHCR has aided millions of people in resuming their lives for more than half a century. Refugees, returnees, stateless people, internally displaced people, and asylum seekers are among them. Help from UNHCR, such as safety, shelter, health, and education, have all been critical in healing broken pasts and laying the foundation for brighter futures.
UNHCR Nansen Refugee Awards was established in 1954, which aims to recognize individuals, groups, and organizations that transcend their responsibilities to protect refugees, the displaced, and stateless people. The winners will receive $150,000, which is generously donated by the Swiss and Norwegian government that used to be discontinued by UNHCR. The official ceremony, presided over by the High Commissioner for Refugees, is held annually in Geneva, Switzerland, which is the world's humanitarian capital, every October.
A brief history of UNHCR. In 1954, UNHCR won the Nobel Peace Prize for its groundbreaking work in Europe. In 1956, during the Hungarian Revolution, 200,000 fled to neighboring Austria, recognizing the Hungarians as prima facie refugees. UNHCR led efforts to resettle them. During the 1960s, UNHCR helped uproot people in Asia and Latin America over the following 2 decades. In 1981, UNHCR received the second Nobel Peace Prize for what had become worldwide assistance to refugees. In the start of 21st century, UNHCR helped with major refugee crises in Africa, the Middle East and Asia. They also have been asked to use their expertise to help many internally displaced by conflict and expanded their role in helping stateless persons.
UNHCR envisions a fundamental change in the way in which refugees and stateless people are protected and supported in Malaysia in the next 5 years, 2017 until 2021. UNHCR Malaysia has proposed a win-win method based on the theory of positive changes. It emphasizes participation of multiple stakeholders to protect and develop outcomes. Thus, each pillar and goal in this strategy are the elements of a comprehensive approach and is the mutual support of other elements.
So, the pillars are partnership, access, advocacy, accountability, and participation. Next, the goals are empower and resilient refugee and stateless communities, legal and policy framework for refugee and stateless people in Malaysia. Thirdly, network of stakeholders supporting refugee communities in strengthener. Transitional and durable solutions are available. Lastly, adequate and sustainable funding mechanisms established.
Governance and oversight. UNHCR is managed by United Nations General Assembly and the Economic and Social Council (ECO-SOC). The UNHCR Executive Committee approved the agency's 2-year program and corresponding budget. These were introduced by the High Commissioners appointed by the UN General Assembly. Our mission is stipulated by the 1950 UNHCR Statute. In 2003, the UN General Assembly extended the organization's mandate until the refugee problem is resolved. The High Commissioner reports annually to the Economic and Social Council and the General Assembly on the work of UNHCR.
The Evaluation Service in UNHCR constantly reviews the operations that analyzes and interprets the work of UNHCR. Evaluation can be roughly divided into 2 categories, which are centralized evaluations and decentralized evaluation. Centralized evaluations are entrusted, funded, and managed by the Evaluation Service. Meanwhile, on the other hand, evaluation for the decentralized evaluation are concerned with representative bureau or division directors that will prepare management responses.
The organizational structure. This is the headquarters for operational and management, which is the executive direction and management. The high position in the organization is the High Commissioner, and there are 3 positions under the High Commissioner. I will explain more in the next slides. The 3 positions are the Deputy High Commissioner, the Assistant High Commissioner for Protection, and the Assistant High Commissioner for Operations. Under this position, they have their respective parts to monitor as shown in the picture. Kelly T. Clements. She is the United Nations Deputy High Commissioner for Refugees. Her role in the organization is to keep eye on and come up with strategic leadership for all concerned regarding to the financial, managerial, and administrative running of the office. Other than that, she also leads an innovation unit and supervises the solution steering group at the High Requisition. Before she joined these organizations, Clement was a Deputy Assistant Secretary of State in Bureau of Population, Refugees and Migration, where she was responsible for humanitarian issues in Asia and the Middle East and global policy and budget. She was also acting Deputy Chief of Mission at the U.S. Embassy in Beirut, Lebanon in 2014. Clement is a national of the United States of America. She holds a Bachelor of Arts in International Studies and Master of Arts in Urban Affairs from Virginia Tech, USA. Rauf Mazu. He is the Assistant Commissioner for Operations. His role is to keep eye on all operations in the UNHCR field, along with the headquarters divisions that contribute operational support in emergencies, programming, supply management, and security. Rauf Mazu took an appointment for this position along with his 28 years of experience in this organization. His various tasks have allowed him to garner expertise in such areas as repatriation, emergency response, and the development of strategies focused at bridging the gap between relief and development. Previously, he served as an UNHCR representative in Kenya and also as a director of UNHCR Africa Bureau. In addition, he holds a bachelor's degree in law from the University of Geneva, Switzerland. Kelly T. Clements. She is the United Nations Deputy High Commissioner for Refugees. Her role in the organization is to keep eye on and come up with strategic leadership for all concerned regarding to the financial, managerial, and administrative running of the office. Other than that, she also leads an innovation unit and supervises the solution steering group at the High Requisition. Before she joined these organizations, Clement was a Deputy Assistant Secretary of State in Bureau of Population, Refugees and Migration, where she was responsible for humanitarian issues in Asia and the Middle East and global policy and budget. She was also acting Deputy Chief of Mission at the U.S. Embassy in Beirut, Lebanon in 2014. Clement is a national of the United States of America. She holds a Bachelor of Arts in International Studies and Master of Arts in Urban Affairs from Virginia Tech, USA.
Now, I will explain on what UNHCR do. Firstly, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees is mandated to protect and fight for the right and well-being of refugees and asylum seekers around the world. UNHCR helps refugees and asylum seekers, including finding them new homes in other countries or helping them return to their home voluntarily when it is safe to do so. While they are seeking protection in other countries, UNHCR work hard to prepare a safe and secure place and environment for them. UNHCR also strives to prepare their basic needs, such as giving them protection, improve their education, and helping them to upgrade their life, such as in their careers, is some of the UNHCR efforts in helping the refugees and asylum seekers. UNHCR helps the refugees in livelihoods and economic inclusion aspects. UNHCR strives to empower the social relationship, economic, and cultural ties between the refugees and the host communities. The host communities is the people who have citizenship in the other country that the refugees and asylum seekers seek for protection. The UNHCR encourages them to have a good relation with their host communities to attract their attention and welcome them in their country. The refugees and displaced people can earn a living for their family through the decent work that they do. At the same time, they can maintain their dignity and draw a better future for them. UNHCR support the refugees to gain access to the labour market in their host communities, which also can allow them to improve their economic inclusion. Finally, UNHCR helps in searching for job opportunity, improve their skills and talents to help them to access to the labour market. One of the activities conducted by UNHCR is training refugees and Ethiopians for the job market. A vocational program funded by the German government was held at Ethiopia to enhance skills such as cooking, woodworking, and mechanical skills for the refugees and their host communities. Cooking skills such as chopping onions, peeling carrots, boiling lentils, cooking rice, and preparing samosas are some of the skills that the refugees can learn in this program. Instead of learning new skills or improve their skills, the refugees can strengthen their relationship with their host communities while attending this program. This program allows the refugees and Ethiopians to learn together from cooking and woodworking to mechanical skills. This program improved the employment scope for both the refugees and Ethiopians. The second activity is Living Integration Program by UNHCR in collaboration with the Ministry of Labour of Costa Rica. This country has developed a system that allows the refugees and asylum seekers to rebuild their life. It also allows the refugees to appeal and to go to work and school when their petitions are processed. UNHCR, in collaboration with the Ministry of Labour, Costa Rica, developed the Living Integration Program to give the refugees and asylum seekers the employment skills training, access to job fairs, and support to start their own business. Julissa is one of the enterprising refugees who got a chance to start over her own business in Costa Rica. With the support from the Costa Rica Ministry of Economy, Industry and Commerce, UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, and local non-profits is allowing the refugees like Julissa to develop her entrepreneurial skills and improve her business. She also got a chance to promote small and medium-sized business in an event co-hosted by UNHCR, the second gastronomic festival Integrate Al Sabor. This Living Integration Program helped Julissa to survive with her family, and she became one of the successful enterprising refugees in Costa Rica. Next, UNHCR also helps the refugees in education aspects. The refugees' children and teenagers could not get the same chances as others. Unfortunately, only 3% of the refugee students who got a chance to study in the higher education. Their access to education is limited. UNHCR made a collaboration with the government and international organizations to improve the quality of education for the refugees. Education empowers by giving the refugees a lot of knowledge to be more productive, improve their life, and learn new skills and more. Education also gives a new spirit for them to get to know their ability, work around them, and strive to rebuild a better future for their life. UNHCR put a lot of efforts in improving the education for the refugees, such as in giving primary and youth education for the refugees' children and scholarship for the youth. Primary and secondary school teachers who had refugee students also need to learn on how they can communicate, to treat their refugee students, their words in the class, and so on. UNHCR website provide materials named Teaching About Refugees for the teachers to help them in the class. UNHCR's goal to increase the percentage of the refugee enrollment in higher education from 3% to 50% by 2030. The Duffy Albert Einstein German Academic Refugee Initiative Scholarships Program offers qualified refugee and returnee students the possibility to earn an undergraduate degree in their host community country or home country. Through the support from the government of Germany, Denmark, and the Czech Republic, UNHCR and private donors, the program has sponsored over 18,000 young refugees to undertake tertiary studies since 1992. The scholarship covers a range of costs including tuition, fees, study materials, food, transportation, accommodation, and other expenses. To strengthen their academic achievement and skills development, DAFI scholars receive additional support such as close monitoring, academic preparatory, and language classes based on student needs, as well as mentoring and networking opportunity.
Shelter is the basic needs of life. At UNHCR, one of their core protection mission is to make sure the access to adequate shelter when humanitarian emergencies happen. UNHCR try their best to fulfill the refugees' needs such as provide tent, distribute plastic sheeting, and develop more emergency strategies, tools and guidelines, and trying their best to provide emergency aid to those in need. UNHCR and wider humanitarian community are not in favor of creating camps because they think other responsible party offer a more normal life for people forced to flee. This means they only provide camp when there are no alternative. They will design camp site or settlement carefully to keep people safe and give them shelter. They also try to offer service to the host community as a contribution. A properly laid out camp designed by UNHCR helps prevent fires and outbreak of disease. In a well-designed camp, displaced people do not have to walk too far to get food, water, or medical care. Most of the camp designed by UNHCR was strategic and designed to ease the displaced people to fulfill their needs. Water points and latrines are well lit and close to home, so it is safer especially for girls and women. Once refugees have crossed one of three borders points between South Sudan and Uganda, in the area surrounding Koluba, their names are taken and UNHCR transport them and their belongings on truck to collection point at Busia village. The refugees receive 20,000 liters water that are trucked in every day and high energy biscuit. After that, they need to do a very quick registration. Once a number of refugees have collected, they are transported here to the Koloba collection center where they go through a further registration to identify unaccompanied children and persons with special needs, such as elderly and disabled person. They will go through initial medical screening, and there is also hot meal provided. Refugees stay overnight in Koluba and receive a blanket, sleeping mat, soap, and other essentials. They will have a briefing on the following day about the next step of movement, since this collection center is just a short stop for them before they will be allocated land and shelter. These are the pictures taken from the UNHCR gallery. Sidra Talib, a 21 years old Syrian refugee pursuing dentistry studies thanks to a Turkey Buslari scholarship. The next picture portrays Salima Rahman is in her final year of training at Holy Family Hospital in Rawalpindi, Pakistan. This picture shows refugees and asylum seekers from different countries break the Ramadan fast at the Al-Amal Orphan Society in Amman, Jordan. This picture shows the first distribution series of extra emergency distribution in Tripoli to assist some of the most vulnerable people during Ramadan. This last picture shows some of the 200 asylum seekers from Zawiya al-Nas detention center in Libya receive help from the UNHCR.
That's all from us. Thank you for watching.